we are finishing up our worship series called The GOAT, the greatest of all time, which of course is Jesus. And this past Sunday, we saw in Colossians chapter 1 that Jesus is the great reconciler. In verse 20, it says that God was pleased through him, Jesus, to reconcile to himself all things, whether things on earth or things in heaven, by making peace through his blood shed on the cross. And that, friends, is the gospel. It's why Jesus took on flesh and moved into the neighborhood to reconcile all things, to make peace between all things and God, even if it cost the shedding of his own blood. And we saw later in Colossians 3 how we are to respond to this knowledge. Verse 15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body, you are called to peace." God reached out and did the unimaginable. Becoming human in Christ, he suffered, died, and rose again, all so that we could be reconciled to him, because there was a chasm there between us that seemingly could not be crossed. But God in Jesus made a way, a sacrificial way, so that we could be at peace with him. And what's more, he was pleased to do it. Our response should be to live in that peace and to share that peace with one another, to sometimes sacrifice ourselves to reconcile ourselves to others. And then verse 15 goes on to say, "And be thankful." That's a whole sentence there. Be thankful. God was pleased to do it. We ought to be thankful. So as you head into your Thanksgiving plans and celebrations, or maybe a lack thereof, be thankful. Be thankful that your God is pleased to reconcile himself to you, that God is pleased to make the first move to reconcile you to him, that God is pleased that nothing could stop him, even giving up his own son, to be at peace with you. Be thankful. Live in the peace that Christ has made available to you, and don't let anything stop you from sharing that peace with others when you can. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next week as we begin celebrating Advent together.